Listen live on iHeartRadio. Now. No, seriously, do it now. Time to put the pedal to the floor. It's loud and live and local. Oh, time for open mic.
TGIF, everybody. We are loud, live, and local every morning, 6 to 9:30 a.m. right here in Central Florida with so many ways to listen to us. FM 96.9 The Game, AM 740, HD 101.1-2. You can listen on your smart speaker. You can download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to us globally. You can also watch us now. We're a TV show as well on social media, Twitter, Twitch. You can also find us on YouTube. Just go to YouTube, look for the Open Mic live stream. Just search that, Open Mic live stream, and you will see our beautiful faces right this moment. In fact, you will also see Austin Pastolka, the Sultan of Sound. I dug through my sweatshirts this morning.
Oh, no.
All right. And I did find one older than you this morning.
Oh, no. How old is it?
Adam Reardon, can you see this sweatshirt right here?
Let me look here. What does that say? Oh, Aloha Bowl.
The Aloha Bowl.
What year?
I can't see the year on that. It's in green writing. Hold on. Oh, God. I can't see it.
1987.
Oh,
I was
man.
10.
1987, the Aloha Bowl. I was my first year as a young scribe covering the Florida Gators. The Gators went to the Aloha Bowl and played UCLA. All right, UCLA in the Aloha Bowl. I believe was Troy Aikman. Was Troy Aikman the quarterback? I can't even remember that far back, but I think Troy Aikman might have been the quarterback of UCLA that year. And yeah, and I remember it's the only time I've ever cheered in the press box. Now, I didn't cheer loud. You're not supposed to cheer in the press box. But the Gators, I don't even remember who they were playing the last game of the season. I think they might have been playing Kentucky or somebody. And they had to win the game to get to like 6-5 so they could be bowl eligible. And if they were bowl eligible, they were going to go to the Aloha Bowl in Hawaii. And I was like, I'm going to get to go to Hawaii and cover the Gators. So I was cheering for the Gators that day.
Nice. Yeah. Very nice.
There you have it. All right, welcome to Open Mic. I'm Mike Bianchi, the Bulldog sports columnist of the Orlando Sentinel. You heard Adam Reardon, the Deceptive Intellect, and, of course, Austin Pastolka, the Sultan of Sound.
Yeah, that's right, Mike. And man, it is so close to the weekend, I can almost taste it. The Super Bowl Sunday sweetness is right on the tip of my tongue.
I can hardly wait. You know, I'm going to be covering the Super Bowl Sunday in Tampa. I'm not going to be able to be in front of my TV, which is, you know, watching the Super Bowl on TV, much better than watching it from the press box as far as just being able to see everything, hear everything. Again, the halftime show's better on TV. The press box is all closed up. You can't even hear the halftime show from the press box. Now, if you were in the stands, it'd be awesome. But in the press box, you're sort of closed in there, and you can't really hear anything. We want to hear from you, though. You can call us 407-916-8255. You can tweet us at 96.9 The Game. You can text us on our Academy Sports and Outdoors text line. That's 50857. We have some Super Bowl guests this morning. Greg Allman, our Bucs insider from The Athletic. He is embedded over in Tampa covering the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl. He will join us at 8 a.m. this morning. Jamie Say, will join us at 8:15. The WKMG News 6 sports director. She's already won the football picks contest, but we are going to pick the Super Bowl. In fact, we're all going to pick the Super Bowl at 8:15 this morning. So you guys come up with your picks as well. First chance at $1,000. That's coming up at 7:10 a.m. this morning. As we do every weekday morning, we give you two chances at 7:10 a.m. and 8:10 a.m. to win $1,000. So be listening for that. I like to begin every show with the open mic early morning inspirational quote of the day. This one comes from that great philosopher Anonymous, and we quote Anonymous a lot on this show. And the quote is this. Where is it? Quote, don't stop. Don't stop until you're proud. End quote. Anybody want to go a little deeper on that one?
I would say that, most people say, don't stop till the job's done. Well, getting the job done doesn't necessarily mean it's of the highest quality. Don't stop until you are proud of the work that you've done.
Oh, that's good. Deceptive intellect. That's good. That's really good. I never even thought about that. Yeah. Don't stop. Don't stop until the job's done. No. Don't stop until the job is done awesomely. Right?
Till you're proud of your work. And normally we're our harshest critics. So therefore, our standards for ourselves should be much higher than our than the standards of anybody else would be for us. So once you're proud of the job, then you know that you've done the best you can do on it.
Absolutely.
Quick question. I know that this is attributed to the great philosopher Anonymous, but since no one's claimed it, can I claim this one? Can I be like, hey,
Sure.
at Radio Guy Austin said this, coined this phrase?
I thought you would probably attribute it to like Captain Marvel or the Green Lantern or something.
Listen, man, when it comes to superheroes and inspirational quotes, I don't know very many other people that have more inspirational quotes than superheroes.
I'm pretty sure this is Merman and Barnacle Boy that did this one here.
I want to tell you guys a quick story before. Actually, this has something to do with the Super Bowl before we get into our Super Bowl talk. All right, so I'm a columnist at the Orlando Sentinel, so I've been assigned the column for the weekend, and the column is on the hiring practices with head coaches in the NFL. Obviously, with the Eric Bieniemy controversy, the paucity of black head coaches in the NFL. So, out of the blue, I had this old Tony Dungy number, all right, from way back, all right. Didn't even, how you have numbers in your contacts, you don't know if they're still good or not, right?
Yes, definitely. I know exactly what you're talking about.
So I had this old Tony Dungy number, and I said, yeah, Tony Dungy would be a great guy to talk to about this, obviously. So I text this number. All right, that was Tony Dungy's old number.
That was at one time Tony Dungy. Okay.
Yeah, at one time it was Tony Dungy's number. So I text this number. All right, explain who I am. Columnist of the Orlando Sentinel, working on this column. I did a couple of columns back in the day on your. Yeah, he has this charity called All Pro Dad, trying to sort of mentor dads. All right. All Pro Dad. And I said, I wrote in there, I wrote a couple columns on your All Pro Dad charity back in the day. So, I send the text, and this isn't what you think.
No, I'm just hey, this is Mike. Remember those times I scratched your back with your charity?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what
this is me. This is me coming back around for my back being scratched.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's exactly why I put it in there.
Yeah.
So anyway, 5 minutes later, number rings. It's Tony Dungy.
Get out of here.
Tony Dungy. Hey, Mike, I appreciate all those columns you did. But yeah, he called me right back, and he was so nice, so accommodating, had great things to say about the topic. We talked about his old Bucks days. If every coach was like Tony Dungy, oh, what a wonderful world it would be, as Louis Armstrong or somebody once sang. Right? Good Lord. Tony Dungy is the absolute. Tony Dungy has a fan for life right now.
Well, that's not fair, though, Mike. That's not fair because last time I checked, Tony Dungy wasn't coaching anymore, so he's got a little bit more time, and maybe
Okay,
he's a less stressed guy. Yeah.
Also, Tony Dungy is kind of like
Let me return a call to this weird text I just got from somebody who may or may not be who he said on the other line.
but also like Tony Dungy, in my mind, is one of those guys that's kind of unreachable. Like he's one of those guys that like, okay, he's on another level when it comes to coaches. So getting his information has got to be really, really tough. And so just because you happen to still have it, that's cool, man.
Yeah, so God bless Tony Dungy. I still remember when the Bucks fired Tony Dungy. This is the type of guy Tony Dungy is, all right? So the Bucks fire Tony Dungy. It was a big deal. I mean, obviously Tony Dungy was a successful coach with the Bucks. He just couldn't get over the hump and get them to the Super Bowl. So he gets fired. They bring in John Gruden. The day after he got fired, I think they sent out a press release or something with some statement from Tony Dungy thanking the Bucks or whatever. Well, the next morning, I believe it was Chris Harry. Chris Harry, or one of the Bucks writers, called Tony Dungy's number. All right, to get a real response from Tony Dungy. And you know what Tony Dungy was doing when they called him? Driving the kids to school. Driving the kids to school on the day after he got fired.
How about this though? Tony Dungy did get the last laugh on the Bucks because, well, they're firing me. I'm going to keep this cell phone. I'm keeping this cell phone. And luckily for you, Mike, he pocketed that little Motorola that many years ago because that number still worked for you.
Kept the same number all these years.
That's why he answered. He's like, man, that phone hasn't rang in years. I've kept it on the charger this whole time, and now somebody's ringing it.
Actually, I don't even know if those were the cell phone days back then when they called Tony Dungy.
Oh yeah, no, the Motorola, yeah.
Yeah, he had one of those big tubular cell phones. Motorola.
Who knew that this thing? I wish it. Now you know what I really wish he had. Still was a Nokia phone. That's what I really wish he would have had.
I sold my Nokia yesterday.
This guy here.
I sold.
Softest guy. How much? Did you take a loss?
Yeah, I took a loss.
The guy took a loss. Took a $3 loss. This guy took a $3. You gotta hold on to it just in case.
What's Nokia? What's Nokia down
It's still under $5. It's like $470 or something like that.
So it's the same as it's been.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere. So I said, you know what? I'll find the next big thing. Oh,
Well,
it's going to Dogecoin, brother.
No. I've got the next big thing for you, all right? The price of chicken wings is skyrocketing heading into the Super Bowl. I'm telling you, sell your GameStop, sell your Nokia, buy chicken wing stock. We're going to get into that next on Open Mic.
Open Mic will be
It's the way you work, the way you prepare. Ultimately, I want to play another 10, 15 years. So, I've been thinking about that daily, every day. And you have a whole plan for that.
That was the great Russell Wilson talking about how he wants to play 10 to 15 more years. How old is Russell Wilson right now? Can we find that out?
Ooh, he's still pretty young. I think he's at like 32. I'll look it up.
Okay, look it up. So that would make him. So that would put him in the Tom Brady range if he's going to play that. If he wants to play that much longer, can Russell Wilson? 32, so 10 more years before. Yeah, so 40, 45, something like that. 10 to 15 more years. Can Russell Wilson play that long? Are all quarterbacks now going to start trying to play as long as Tom Brady? I don't know. I don't know that most quarterbacks can play to this age. I mean, arm strength is an issue, but also Russell Wilson. I mean, he uses his legs a lot. He's elusive. Tom Brady's not elusive. He's just able to sort of shift in the pocket a little bit. I heard somebody say the other day he's got great shoulders. He can shimmy his shoulders to avoid. I don't know if Russell Wilson is the type of quarterback that could play till he's 45 years old. Maybe.
What about Aaron Rodgers, who's 37? Do you think he's got another 6 years in him?
Yeah, because Aaron Rodgers does use his mobility a little bit, but not as much as like Russell Wilson does.
Well, he doesn't use it when he needs to on third and goal.
Yeah, good point. So yeah. It'll be interesting though. Our quarterback's going to try to play longer because of what Brady has done. It's going to be really interesting, actually. All right, so I teased this story. This is the genesis, by the way, of our spontaneous text question.
Spontaneous text question of the day.
Okay, our spontaneous text question of the day is, Super Bowl Sunday, obviously. What is your favorite Super Bowl snack or food? This maybe something you make traditionally at your Super Bowl party or at your Super Bowl, whoever you're watching the Super Bowl with. Is there any traditional fare that you guys always look forward to on Super Bowl Sunday?
Yeah, the one thing that wherever I go, like I kind of got my fingers crossed, like I hope somebody or we will commit to bringing it, is like a buffalo chicken dip.
That is such a big thing here in Florida. I had never heard of buffalo chicken dip until I came to Florida.
Oh my God! It's got chicken, that Frank's hot sauce or whatever you choose to use on there, and like the cream cheese and everything. And you get and you get those the Tostitos folks are smart enough to evolve and get the scoop.
Yeah, the scoops.
The scoop. Oh my God!
All right, so you said buffalo and buffalo chicken dip. All right, well, chicken wings right now. I was reading this story the other day. Obviously, a lot of chicken wings sold before the Super Bowl. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but chicken wings are scarce right now. In fact, the price of chicken wings has skyrocketed. The story I'm reading says they're up to almost $3 a pound for chicken wings. And again, I don't buy many chicken wings, so I don't know, how much they usually are. But this story says they're up to near $3 a pound. The reason is because chicken production is down during the pandemic. All right. So there's lower supply. Also, the dine-in restaurant business, even though it's down double digits, serving chicken wings is up like almost 10%, according to the National Chicken Council. That's right. The National Chicken Council, chicken wing servings are up almost 10%. Why is that? Because they're the perfect takeout fare.
Yeah.
So a lot of people ordering chicken wings for takeout. Easy to do. Also, a lot of restaurants, like I'm reading this story, Brinker International started a restaurant. It's just wings, all right? They actually run this out of they own Chili's, all right? So they started running these restaurants. It's just wings out of their Chili's locations, all right? So they're just serving they're serving chicken wings out of their normal restaurants. So these restaurants
but they're like
out,
takeout only.
Yeah, they're like takeout only.
Gotcha.
So they're figuring out, man, we need to get in the chicken wing business. Frozen wings at supermarkets. Sales up 37%. So again, chicken wings are scarce right now, which is why I've come up with this idea. I mean, you guys are talking about investing in the stock market with Robinhood and all of that and buying your GameStop and your Nokia. Why not buy chicken wing stock? You know this is going to keep going up because, again, the pandemic isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Why not chicken wing stock?
Are you implying that we buy up vast amounts of chicken wings and keep them in a freezer so one day we can...
No, not the chicken wings, the chicken wing stock.
So the broth. You want us to make broth out of chicken wings?
No, the actual stock, Dow Jones stock. You go and find you a chicken wing company and invest in it. Reardon, what do you think?
I was trying to look up Purdue,
Tyson, maybe
Tyson,
something like that.
Let me check up Tyson. I'm going to look up Tyson. See if
Look
these
up
are
Tyson stock. See what it's at. I bet it's
Tyson Foods. Let me see. Over the last week is up. Getting ready for the Super Bowl, it is up 2.5%, $1.50.
better than GameStop over the last week. That's for sure.
It's funny. You said chicken production is down, and I couldn't, because of the pandemic. All I could picture is some hen in the hen house going, "Not tonight, Frank. This pandemic's really got me down."
Anyway, text in 50857 your favorite Super Bowl food tradition that has to do with food, drink as well. Text those into 50857. Straight ahead, whose legacy can most be enhanced by a Super Bowl victory on Sunday? We'll discuss and debate that next on Open Mic.
Super Bowl 55.
he's tough enough to be coached hard. I mean, do you realize the mental toughness that Tom Brady had to have for 20 years to deal with Bill Belichick? I mean, in that type of coaching, I mean, constant pressure every single day. Does Stafford sort of grab you as a guy that could handle that? I just don't think so.
Well,
That was Teddy Bruschi, former New England Patriot, saying Matt Stafford not tough enough to play for the Patriots.
what a weak take.
That's a bunch of garbage. First of all, do you think Teddy Bruschi even know? Has he ever spoken to Matt Stafford? Maybe he has. I don't know.
I don't think so.
Has he?
Dude, Matt Stafford
Stafford
has answered the bell like almost every single week for a terrible Detroit Lions organization. I've never once heard him necessarily be some sort of malcontent up there by any means. Listen, there's ways to pump up Tom Brady and exclaim his greatness without having to like shred some guy.
Right. He's
that
not
you've
tough
never
enough
even
to
met.
play for Belichick. Yeah.
Who has played in like the fourth quarter. Remember when he dislocated his throwing shoulder?
Yeah.
And he still came back to
mentally tough enough.
Good.
Weak
Lord.
sauce, Teddy Bruschi.
Can't play in New England. Can't play. Can't. So who's the Cam Newton played there obviously this year. Who's the quarterback behind Cam Newton?
Jared
the guy
Stidham.
Yeah. Oh, Jared Stidham's tough enough. But
That's
but
right.
That's
Stafford's
another
not.
way of like patting himself on the back too, talking about only the special players could play in New England for Bill Belichick. Like me, I also played. I was listen. I was on the defensive side of the ball. So if you think Tom Brady had to be tough, imagine what I had to go through. Look at me, I'm Teddy Bruschi. It's so terrible.
I know. I hate that take. All right. Obviously, the Super Bowl this Sunday. We have some polls up. You can go vote at 96.9 The Game and at The Game Jacks. Usually, we do our thought-provoking daily poll during this segment. Our thought-provoking daily poll: who do you predict to win the Super Bowl? All right, so you can go vote on that. All right, we will make our picks at 8:15 with Jamie Say. But I want to get into this poll for a minute. Which quarterback or coach most needs a Super Bowl victory on Sunday to cement their legacy? And obviously the choices are Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and Bruce Arians. I'll just use I'll give you my opinion, then you guys can chime in, all right? Tom Brady's legacy is already cemented. Obviously, if he wins Sunday, yeah, that will enhance it, but he's already the greatest of all time. Patrick Mahomes, I'm eliminating him because Patrick Mahomes is young. He's going to have many, many, many other chances to win Super Bowls. Bruce Arians, yes. For Bruce Arians, winning his first Super Bowl would be a big deal, but we all know that Bruce Arians isn't going to get credit for winning the Super Bowl. Everybody's going to heap the credit on Tom Brady. All right. To me, it's Andy Reid. This is an easy question to me. Andy Reid has been one of the great coaches of our time when you think about it. When you look at how many times, not that he's been to the Super Bowl, but with the Philadelphia Eagles, he took the Philadelphia Eagles to a Super Bowl, didn't win it, all right, but got close so many times. I think he was in 5 NFC championship games with the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, only went to 1 Super Bowl with Philadelphia, but he was knocking on the door a bunch of times. And if Andy Reid can win his 2nd Super Bowl on Sunday, back-to-back Super Bowls. First of all, I don't think back-to-back Super Bowls have been, I don't think that's been done since the early days of Belichick and Brady, has it?
It's been 16 seasons since the last one.
16 seasons since the last coach went back-to-back, and that, of course, was Bill Belichick. I'm looking at the coaches right now who've won multiple Super Bowls, all right? Bill Belichick, obviously, he's won 6, one of the all-time greats. Chuck Noll of the Steelers, 4. Bill Walsh of the 49ers, 3. Joe Gibbs, 3. Vince Lombardi, 2. Of course, Vince Lombardi didn't coach during the Super Bowl era. For most of his career, wasn't during the Super Bowl era. Tom Landry, 2. Don Shula, 2. Bill Parcells, 2. Jimmy Johnson, 2. I'm looking at all the coaches who've won 2 Super Bowls, all right? Tom Landry, you would consider him one of the all-time greats, right?
Yeah, legendary.
Yeah, Don Shula, one of the all-time greats. Bill Parcells, one of the all-time greats. Jimmy Johnson, one of the all-time greats, although he didn't coach in the NFL that long. Here's where it gets a little dicey. Tom Coughlin, he's not one of the all-time greats. He's won 2 Super Bowls. Mike Shanahan, not one of the all-time greats, is he?
No.
Yeah, he's won 2 Super Bowls. George Seifert, he got the leftover Bill Walsh Super Bowls. He won 2 of them. He's not one of the all-time greats. But if Andy Reid could get to 2 Super Bowls, I think he would be considered one of the all-time greats. He wouldn't be in the George Seifert class. He would be in the Bill Parcells class if he could get to 2 Super Bowls. So I'm voting Andy Reid as the coach or quarterback who most needs this to cement his legacy. Thoughts?
I've always likened the 2 Super Bowl rule to golf's 2 majors. Like, listen, okay, fine, you're Rich Beam and you won a major, right? The way to prove that you're a great golfer is to back that up and win another one. Once in a while, you'll get a guy like John Daly who wins 2. I don't know that we'd call John Daly an all-time great golfer. I mean, he's won 2 majors, but more than likely, I think the rule rather than the exception is: listen, if you are good enough to win 2 major golf tournaments, you're a great golfer. You're like one of the greats of those times, and you can think about the guys that have won multiple majors. And I think you're right with the coaching category. That, yeah, we've got a couple of coaches we could point to and go, he's got 2 Super Bowls, but he's not great. But the rule generally is, if you can win 2 Super Bowl titles as a football coach in the National Football League, you're a great coach. You're an all-time great coach. So I'll agree with you. At first, I was leaning towards the Sesame Street rule, which is one of these things is not like the other, and it's Bruce Arians. He didn't have a Super Bowl ring as a head coach or a player. And I thought that would be big for him to sort of legitimize his entire career as this quarterback whisperer. Look at him. But you're right. At the end of the day, people will be carrying Tom Brady off the field, not Bruce Arians. Whereas if Andy Reid wins, Andy Reid at least gets 40 to 50% of the credit in Kansas City with Mahomes. Whereas you're right. Tom Brady's going to get 85% of the credit in Tampa, and Bruce Arians will get 15%, and that's it.
So you're saying if you the Rich Beam, you said one of the guys that have won 1 major. So you're saying like Barry Switzer, who has 1 Super Bowl. He's the Rich Beam.
He's the Rich Beam of yes. He is the Rich Beam of
Brian Billick, the Rich Beam of Super Bowl coaches.
Brian Billick is like a really good golfer who only won 1 that I scratch my head and go, God, how did you not win more than just 1? I mean, he coached for the greatest front office organization. Ozzie Newsome, the way he drafted and some of the teams that Brian Billick had defensively, you only won 1, but you did do it with Trent Dilfer, so that's like playing with like 13 clubs in the bag. So I don't know.
You know who else is Rich Beam, but you would never say it because he's so high profile. John Gruden is Rich Beam, in my opinion. John Gruden is Rich Beam.
John Gruden's another guy. John Gruden is, I guess Ricky Fowler doesn't have 1 yet. It'd be like a guy who's like a lot of style, and we all enjoy looking at him. But Ricky Fowler doesn't even have a major at this point. But he is a style guy, and we start looking at his substance. And we were talking about Barry Switzer walking in on the back end of the Jimmy Johnson and the George Seifert. Think about John Gruden walked in on the back of the Tony Dungy teams and took them to the Super Bowl. Yeah.
All right, straight ahead. The Chiefs are under pressure to ditch the tomahawk chop. Is Florida State going to have to follow? That is next on Open Mic.
96.9 The Game, FM, HD, online at 969thegame.com, on your phone with the iHeart
I'll be there if I'm selected, but I'll be there physically, but not mentally.
That was the great LeBron James talking about he's not fired up about playing in the All-Star game. The NBA has scheduled an All-Star game in the middle of a pandemic, and LeBron says, hey, I'm not fired up about it. He did also say, though, I'm not fired up about it, but yeah, I'll play. If I make the All-Star team, which you will, obviously, I'll play in the game. But it's not... It's not the league that has. I mean, the league obviously has scheduled the All-Star game, but the Players Association signed off on it. The players want to play an All-Star game too because it's extra revenue for them. So again, if LeBron's upset about it, he can go to his own Players Association and say, "Why did you guys sign off on that?" Play that clip again, real quick. Awesome.
And zero excitement about an All-Star game this year. I don't even understand why we're having an All-Star game. But it's the agreement that the Players Association and the league came about.
Okay, there you have it right there. Stop it. Yeah, the Players Association, they signed off on it. So if you have a beef, go to the Players Association. Should they play an All-Star game? Hell, I don't even like All-Star games when there's no pandemic, for crying out loud. So the fact that they're playing one during a pandemic, I would say no, they shouldn't play it because I'm not interested even in pre- and post-pandemic All-Star games. So anyway, you guys like All-Star games?
I like the festivities around All-Star games, but I don't like All-Star games. Like home run derbies, dunk contests.
I like the dunk contest. I like the dunk contest better than the All-Star game.
Absolutely.
I couldn't relate to the dunk contest, so I only tuned in for the 3-point shooting contest.
Yeah, I like that too. Yeah. I remember when the All-Star game was in Orlando several years ago. I went to all the festivities before the game. I actually liked the 3-point contest and the dunk contest better than the game itself.
The 3-point shooting contest is the best because it's not subjective. You know what I mean? There isn't like 6 guys there holding up a number 10 and then the one guy throws up the 9 and then Aaron Gordon goes on Twitter. I mean, well, it's happened to more people than just Aaron Gordon, but just we know more about him. 3-point contest is, hey, look, I counted them all up and you won. Congratulations. Yeah. And back in the day, too, like we grew up maybe in the golden era of that stuff. You'd have Dominique versus Jordan in the dunk contest, and you'd have Larry Bird versus Craig Hodges in the 3-point shooting contest. And that was, to me, those were way more entertaining than the dunk contests were.
All right, your next chance to, or actually your first chance to win $1,000 coming up at 7:10 a.m. this morning. Do not forget to tune in for that. We do it twice a day, 7:10 and 8:10 a.m. We give you a chance to win $1,000. Our spontaneous text question of the day has to do with the Super Bowl. We want to know what your favorite Super Bowl food is. If you have a traditional food or beverage that you have at the Super Bowl, text those into 50857. Here's one I sort of like, being a good old Southern boy. Spicy collard greens and deer burgers stuffed with cheese. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, a little venison burger right there.
That's a Super Bowl tradition?
Spicy collard greens and deer burgers stuffed with cheese. That sounds good. I love collard greens. Put a little pepper sauce on them to make them spicy. And you don't boil the collard greens in water. No. You boil them in chicken broth. Oh, yeah.
Oh, so that's what you're putting the chicken stock to use for.
The internet up and running in Levy County this morning. It's nice. It's nice.
How about that? It's never a real party until the deviled egg showed up. Oh, I love deviled egg.
You guys are
deviled egg fan right here.
I'm a huge deviled egg fan. All right, and you know what makes the deviled egg, right?
It's the smoked paprika on top.
The paprika.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Somebody texted in, my favorite Super Bowl food is beer. Well, obviously you need that at the Super Bowl party. Although Adam Reardon, he probably drinks his vodka and Red Bulls at his Super Bowl party.
Sugar free.
Vodka tonic, brother.
Watching the figure. Go vodka soda if you're watching your figure over there, by the way.
That's right.
Tonic's got a lot of sugar in there. I learned
Does
that.
it?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
So you got to go soda, extra lime to get past that soda taste.
Vodka LaCroix, all right? That's what I'm going.
There you go. There you go.
You and the rest of the ladies gathered round.
All right, keep those coming in. 50857. Real quick, I want to commend Mark Daniels real quick, all right? So I'm listening to his show yesterday after we get off the air, and he's got Greg Warmoth on. Greg Warmoth, a longtime news anchor, used to be a sports anchor in town. He works for, who's he work for? Channel 9, I believe. Google that. I want to make sure I got that right. Greg Warmoth. I believe he's the anchor, news anchor at Channel 9. Anyway, he's been a longtime sports guy in Orlando as well. Back in the day, he was a sports anchor when Shaq was in town. He was very well connected. So he was telling this story on Mark Daniels' show, and they're talking back and forth about this story. I guess back in the 90s or whenever it was when the Glazers, the owners of the Bucks, were trying to build a stadium. All right. They were trying to get a stadium built. They had the big sombrero and they wanted to do stadium. So they started threatening a little bit, sort of saying, hey, if you guys don't build us a stadium, we'll just move somewhere else. And Orlando got involved. And the mayor of Orlando at the time was a woman named Linda Chapin. And Linda Chapin, according to Greg Warmoth said, listen, the Bucks would have moved to Orlando. They were serious. If Linda Chapin had said, yeah, we'll build you a stadium. But Greg Warmoth said Linda Chapin was like, nah, I don't want to create any waves here. Do we really want a football team and this and that? And sort of just let it pass, all right? It was fascinating listening to Mark Daniels and Greg Warmoth pass. Mark Daniels is the best. I mean, he's so smart. He's so eloquent. He talks so intelligently about every topic without even blinking an eye. Man, it was some of the best radio I've ever heard yesterday on the Beat of Sports. Listen to Mark Daniels and Greg Warmoth talking about how the Bucks could have been in Orlando. Unbelievable. So I just wanted to say that.
And if you want to catch that, the podcast is available over on 96.9 The Game in the podcast section. So if you missed it, don't worry. We're in the future now, man. You can rewind the radio. How about that?
There you have it. I'm reading a story yesterday from the Associated Press. I'll just read you a little bit of it. Pressure is mounting for the Super Bowl-bound Kansas City Chiefs to abandon a popular tradition in which the fans break out into a, quote, war chant while making a chopping hand motion designed to mimic the Native American tomahawk. Local groups have long argued that the team's chop tradition and even the name itself are derogatory to American Indians. We've obviously heard this story before. And then it goes on to say, the national attention focused for years on the Washington football's team use of the name Redskins and the cartoonish Chief Wahoo logo of the Cleveland Indians baseball team now has enhanced the pressure on the Kansas City Chiefs. Of course, the Redskins nickname was dropped, as was Chief Wahoo. And now there are a coalition of Native American groups that have put up billboards in the Kansas City area to protest the tomahawk chop and the Chiefs nickname. And the story goes on to quote some leaders of these Native American coalitions. All right. So obviously we know what's going on with the Chiefs. I'm going to say this right now. If the Chiefs do end up following the lead of the football team in Washington and the Cleveland Indians and dropping their Native American imagery, Austin doesn't buy this, but I think it's going to put added pressure and a lot of pressure on Florida State to do the same. Because where did the Chiefs get this tomahawk chop and the war chant? They got it from Florida State. Florida State was the first to do it. The Atlanta Braves got it from Florida State as well. So I think there would be a lot of pressure on Florida State to drop the Native American imagery. Austin, you don't think so?
Here's why, and it's the same thing we talk about every single time that one of these names gets brought up. It's the same thing when the conversation we had about this when the Cleveland Indians decided they're going to drop their name for something different. It's the same conversation we had when the Atlanta Braves very quietly took away not so quietly, took away the foam tomahawks, okay? At the end of the day, Florida State is different when it comes to the Seminoles because they have gone through the channels where they have had an open communication with the Seminole tribe, and they have had all this signed off on it. At some point, if the Seminole tribe of Florida says, no, we don't think this is okay anymore, the president has been set that they will listen to them and that will go away. But it's not in the hands of Florida State right now. It's in the hands of the Seminole tribe that they work hand in hand with. So, are they under any added pressure? No, because they already have communication with the people who are in charge of said thing.
Okay, but there's more than one Seminole tribe, all right? There's a Seminole tribe of Oklahoma. There's some other Seminole tribes who have not signed off on the Florida State nickname nor their war chant. In fact, the Seminole tribe of Oklahoma is against Florida State using all of this stuff. And again, I think Florida State, I think the Chiefs, I think they're trying to honor the Native Americans, but a lot of this stuff is a bunch of stereotypes, all right? So there's that. There's more than one Seminole tribe, and also the guy who signed off on Florida State using all of this, the chief of the Seminole tribe of Florida is a guy named Max Osceola, all right? Max Osceola was his name. I think he might have been I think Chief Osceola might have been one of his ancestors, all right? So Max Osceola is the guy who negotiated with Florida State and signed off on the Florida State Seminoles using this. Max Osceola, a few months ago, passed away. So, again, I don't know if a change in leadership with the tribe will change the way the Seminole tribe looks at the Florida State Seminoles. Anyway, that's just a couple of things to think about. We have a supplemental poll up about this. If Kansas City ditches the Chiefs and the Native American imagery, would it put pressure on Florida State to follow suit? You can go vote at 96.9 The Game or at The Game Jacks. Real quick, Adam Reardon, before we get to the front page of the internet, what do you think?
I think that what Austin's saying is right. At this moment, Florida State has a hall pass. They've got the hall pass from the Seminole tribe of the state of Florida. And with all due respect to the Seminoles in Oklahoma, it's the Florida State Seminoles, and that's who they feel like they need to get permission from. And so they've got that. Now, again, if leadership changes or whatever backdoor agreement they have, maybe the price gets too high and then then there is no longer an agreement, then there will be a lot of pressure. But as of right now, they have the get out of jail free card, which is, hey, we've already worked this out. Sort of like LeBron's not happy about the All-Star game. Guess what? Players Association agreed to it. And right now there may be some people upset about the name and the tomahawk chop at Florida State, but right now they say, listen, the Seminoles in the state of Florida have agreed to it and said that it's fine. This is what we've got. If that ever changes, then I agree that there will be way more pressure on them. If the Seminole tribe of the state of Florida ever comes out and goes, yeah, we don't like this anymore, then they won't have a leg to stand on.
Absolutely.
All right, let's pause for station identification.
WYGM Orlando, WJRR HD2 Cocoa Beach. We are football. We are FM 96.9 The Game.
What you reading there, honey?
It's very exciting stuff, you see. It's the front page of the internet.
Here we go with the front page of the internet today. We start off on YouTube's trending page where there are two videos that are making big waves on YouTube. First one is the #1 trending video. It's Mr. Beast Gaming. He had a group, he got 3 teams to race across the earth in Minecraft. So, yeah. In a video game, they built a world and built a 2-scale Earth, had 3 teams run the race, It's a 10-minute video, and it's got 12 million views.
Wow.
Then, bad guy of YouTube, Logan Paul, is back on the YouTube's trending page today because he spent $2 million on old, unopened Pokemon cards. So there's the Pokemon card trading card game is very big right now, and older cards are worth even more money.
Please be Charizard. Please be Charizard.
That's the one.
Yeah,
you want a holographic Charizard, first generation, and there are still a number of unopened packs out in the wild, and because people are selling the unopened packs for way more money than they're actually worth, and so if you open it, the idea is that there's a possibility of the value of that coming down. He said, forget that, I'm going after the Charizard. He bought $2 million worth of these unopened Pokemon cards and opened all of them.
And how many Charizards did he get?
You're going to have to watch the video to find out.
Or I could ask you to watch the video, and
You're right,
then
but
you'll tell me.
Well, I have a lot more sound to find at 4:30 in the morning.
I thought maybe you watched it. Or...
No. I'll watch it after the show, though. I'll tweet it out just for you.
I need the YouTube's Reader's Digest version. I don't want to watch the whole thing.
Cliff's notes of YouTube videos.
That video has 2.6 million views. Happy birthday today to count them, two all-star, all-world soccer players, Cristiano Ronaldo and Neymar.
God, they share the same birthday?
Yes, they do.
I'll go.
And they're the same age, or
they are not?
Oh, okay.
They're not the same age.
I'm gonna go. Ronaldo. I'll go 32.
I'll go Ronaldo 34.
Ronaldo is 36.
Ooh, wow.
So
elderly.
Yes, the elderly statesman of world soccer. And Neymar?
Is he younger or older?
Younger.
He is younger.
32.
I was going to say 29.
He's 29.
Okay.
Bang on, Adam Rudin. Trending over on Reddit today. Couple of things. First thing is the House has voted to strip Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene of her committee assignments after it came out that she believed that California wildfires were started by Jewish space lasers.
Forget about kicking her out of these things. How did she get in these things to start with?
I don't know, man.
She also doesn't believe that the Parkland shooting was like real.
Correct.
And she was like harassing these victims' parents and stuff.
Yes, that is correct.
My God.
She, in her statement to try and defend herself to say, I should remain on these committees, she, number one, didn't ever apologize and didn't disavow anything that she said. But what she did say was, I wasn't able to believe the CNNs or the news networks, so I turned to Facebook, and Facebook allowed me to believe things that were false.
Oh, God. Okay.
And so she blamed the news, media, and then she blamed Facebook for allowing her
to believe. Okay, so if I say, I don't trust my teacher to tell me that 2 + 2 is 4, I'm allowed to believe that 2 + 2 = 47.
Listen.
Right. That
right.
makes sense.
And putting this lady in charge of any panel that's in charge of education in this country seemed like a terrible idea.
Yeah. And finally, on the Life Pro Tips subreddit. So this is an interesting one, for you two guys who have gone through breakups on massive scales at some point. I don't know how to put that the right way. I'm sorry, guys.
We've been divorced.
Thank you. I didn't know how to say it. I don't know why it was weird, but I made it weird. After a bad breakup, do 10 things that your ex would never do with you. You'll feel better and realize how much of yourself was being held back. Is that the best advice you can give for someone going through a bad breakup or a divorce?
Yes.
I like it.
Yeah?
I like it.
Oh, are you kidding me?
That's the right thing?
I'll never forget one of the first things I did when I got divorced was I got my passport and started traveling with friends.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going, because I had turned down some other trips when I was married. And I go, what was I thinking? How dumb was that? I could have been down here 3 years ago.
Yeah, I went on like Tinder. I'm like, wow. This is awesome.
Kidding me?
This is awesome. If they'd had this before I got married, I'd have never been married to begin with.
That is the front page of the internet today.
Real quick here.
Also,
what do I wanna get to?
also, yes, WFTV is Channel 9.
Channel 9. That is Greg Warman.
That is Greg Warman.
God, did you see this guy real quick? Jim Mattress Mac McInvale. He's the Houston furniture store owner who bet $3.46 million on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win the Super Bowl. He's getting 3.5 points for that bet. I guess he makes big bets on a lot of sporting events, and somehow he ties it to his furniture store, and he uses it as a big promotion for his furniture store. So again,
this guy is famous in Texas. I've heard of him a couple different times, and people know him for his commercials and his community outreach and all that sort of stuff. So.
Hey, it's Mattress Mac, and it's Monday morning, and you saw the Chiefs blow away the Buccaneers last night. I need you to come in here and get a mattress.
Yes.
In fact, I'm going to cut them 50% for you
That's
to come
right.
in right now.
I got to blow these things out. Going out of business sale.
Yeah, there used to be a guy in Orlando, and again, I didn't live here at the time, but when I was a kid, there was a car dealer named Art Grindle, all right? Art Grindle Dodge. And he was one of these guys. He would get up. He would get up on top of it, stand on the roof of the cars, and he'd have the sign, $5,000 for this, this Chrysler LeBaron or whatever. All right, and then he'd tear the sign in half. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna tear it in half, cut it in half, and then at the end he'd always go, "I want to sell you a car." He was unbelievable. Art Grindle. Not Art Grindle Jr., who took his dad's dealership. It was just the original Art Grindle. When I was a kid, we used to love the Art Grindle commercials of Art Grindle Dodge. Maybe we should do that as a spontaneous text question someday, like local commercial celebrities. Maybe we can do that.
Who's the Greenway guy? Isn't that Mark Daniels?
Oh, Mark Daniels.
Yeah.
Mark
You said, I don't know. It's Mark Daniels. Come on.
I thought you were talking about the actual dealer himself. All right, straight ahead, it's the sound off. We are going to hear from all the newsmakers when it comes to the Super Bowl. But first, we're going to give you your first chance to win $1,000.
Now, your chance to win one.
Sound Off brought to you by Super Bowl 55 for the 34th consecutive year. Westwood One will be the exclusive network radio home of the Super Bowl. And for the first time ever, we here at 96.9 The Game have partnered with Westwood One and will be carrying the Super Bowl live from Tampa. Coverage starts at 2 p.m. this Sunday. Listen, FM 96.9 The Game, AM 740, HD 101.1-2. Our coverage presented locally by Twin Peaks and Miracle Toyota. Austin?
Sound off. Have you or Jason talked with him or his people about extending his contract past next year?
Yeah, I don't have anything to do with contracts, so that would be all a Jason question. And I think Tom's real happy where he's at, and I wouldn't be surprised.
That's Bruce Arians, head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, saying, I would not be surprised if Tom Brady gets a nice little extension to stay here in Tampa Bay. Okay, we know Tom Brady wants to continue to play football. We know that he's got a good thing going here in Tampa. But my question is, do you think that Tom Brady may want to go somewhere else just to experience more of the NFL, or do you think he's cool just hanging out here in Tampa Bay until he eventually retires at the ripe old age of 55?
I think Tom Brady should be like LeBron. I think he should spread titles around the country. You know, win one in Cleveland, go to Miami, go out to L.A. and win a couple. I think Tom Brady should do that as well. He should. He sort of handpicked the Buccaneers because he liked what they had. He saw that they had potential. He saw that they had offensive weapons that he could work with. Why not in 2 years go handpick the next team that maybe looks like it's on the verge of being able to win a Super Bowl? I think Tom Brady should be the Good Samaritan and spread Super Bowl championships throughout the country like Johnny Appleseed.
Tom Brady to Miami? They're only a quarterback away.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Take his talents to South Beach.
Yeah. All right.
Sound off.
Between high school, college, pro football, doing this for almost 30 years. Just so appreciative of all the different people who have helped me along the way. Just so grateful for all the experiences that I had.
A humble Tom Brady, quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, saying, I want to thank everyone who's gotten me to this position, but can we be a little bit honest here? Let's be honest and say the person that Tom Brady needs to thank is his damn self. He's put in the work. He's the one. It's not Bill Belichick. It's been Tom Brady. It's not Bruce Arians. It's Tom Brady. What do you think, Adam Rudin?
I mean, it's a big part of it. He's definitely a big part of it. I used to think, God, this guy got so lucky, found himself in the right place at the right time. Bledsoe gets hurt. They put him in. They got the kind of coach that says, hey, listen, this young guy's playing good. Sorry, Drew, stay over there. And the rest, as they say, is history. And then the downturn starts happening in New England, and he finds himself to a team. He looks around and goes, well, that team's got offensive talent. That's not the issue there. If they could just limit their interceptions, I know I can do that. Ends up in Tampa Bay, wins the title. He's a big part. He's like 75%. I think other people deserve some credit because, again, if it weren't for that defense against Green Bay, the way he was playing in the second half, it'd be Aaron Rodgers answering questions this week. So other people deserve some credit, but make no mistake about it, Tom Brady deserves the most.
By the way, why doesn't Brady like Brady essentially bailed out on New England, right? He bailed out. He saw that they were going downhill, so he bails out to another team. Why doesn't he get criticized like some of these other athletes? Like LeBron when he left Cleveland to go to Miami. Oh, how can you leave your
I think,
home?
honestly, I think the reason why is because, remember, Bill Belichick tried to boot him to the curb first. Remember, he wanted Tom Brady out so he could go with the Jimmy Garoppolo era. And then Robert Kraft said no to that. So it got Tom Brady a couple more years. They had to get rid of Garoppolo. And then Brady goes ahead and says, all right, well, I'll break up on my terms now. And then and left New England sort of high and dry.
Sound off. I'm aware of it because of the media, sir. And I mean, but I'm old, so I've heard it before and seen it with my own eyes. So it's a neat deal. But when you're in the middle of it, I don't think you appreciate it as much. Maybe when you're done with the whole thing and you look back on it and you can appreciate it more.
Andy Reid, head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, talking about how, listen, I'm aware about the whole back-to-back history of Super Bowls, and I'm aware, but, I'm just focusing on this one game. We got to win this one. We don't really appreciate it while it's happening. But, Mike, my question for you is, with back-to-back Super Bowls, what does that do to an Andy Reid legacy, where he's a great coach, one of the all-time greats, as many people have said, but he's only got the one Super Bowl? What does winning it back-to-back do for him?
Well, rarely do teams win back-to-back Super Bowls, all right? Yeah, I think you told me the last time it happened was 16 years ago with Brady and Belichick when they went back-to-back. But winning 2 Super Bowls is a huge... Forget the back-to-back. Just winning 2 Super Bowls is huge. Again, that takes you from the guys like Brian Billick and John Gruden and Dick Vermeil, Barry Switzer, and puts you in elite company. I mean, look at some of the coaches that have won multiple Super Bowls. The Belichicks, who won 6, Chuck Noll, Bill Walsh, Joe Gibbs, Vince Lombardi, Tom Landry, Don Shula. I could go down the list, Jimmy Johnson, of legendary coaches who've won 2 Super Bowls. I'm looking at the list of coaches that have won 1 Super Bowl, and I'm not seeing any legendary coaches in there. All right. No legendary coaches have only won 1 Super Bowl. I guess Tony Dungy might be the closest thing. He's in the Hall of Fame. But one of the reasons he's in the Hall of Fame, let's face it, is because he was the first black coach to win a Super Bowl. So, this is huge for Andy Reid's legacy.
Virtual is going to be part of our life. For the long term. I think we learned, and the coaches learned, the players learned, that it was actually a very positive way to install offenses and to work in the offseason. So I think we'll see more of that for sure.
That's Roger Goodell, commish of the NFL, talking about virtual offseason and how, while yes, we are still in a pandemic, so virtual offseason is going to be a part of our life. But he kind of leaned towards a way of maybe virtual offseasons are going to be pretty normal even past the pandemic. Adam Reardon, what do you think?
I think virtual everything is going to be the way for everything.
Like virtual doing radio shows from home. I love it.
Listen, I at the end of the day, sometimes once you're forced out of your comfort zone, you may learn smarter, better ways to do things. I was actually watching a clip of Maury Povich the other day. For some reason, it was on my on my phone. And he brought the guest out, and she runs over to him, gives him a hug, and he gives her a kiss on the cheek. And I looked at it and go, that'll never happen again. Like, we will we'll never get back to the day where we see people. I saw one of my best friends.
I don't agree with that now.
People that you don't know and or don't see, especially if they're up in age. I don't think that I'll ever fully go in for the hug for people that are much older than me. I saw a friend of mine's dad last night for the first time in a year and a half, maybe, and his mother as well, and no hugs, no nothing. I gave the dad a fist bump, and that was it. And I can picture that, and we're going way off of the technology angle, but I think that there's different ways to do things now. Spurrier's been fist bumping for 20 years.
Absolutely.
And he was way ahead of the curve here. You know why everybody? I mean, I don't know that everybody knows that, but you know why he fist bumps, right?
He's a germaphobe.
Yeah. So this guy's 20 years living in the future, back in the 1990s, because you know what he didn't want? He didn't want your coronavirus, so he gave you a fist bump.
He didn't want a cold or a flu. Now,
right? Yeah,
you're right. Yeah.
Sound off. That's the sound off for today.
All right, right around the corner. What do we have right around the corner? Here's what we have right around the corner. Not only did Alabama have the #1 recruiting class in the country, the Sabinator had the #1 recruiting class of all time. We'll talk about that next on Open Mic.
Super
to accomplish with this recruiting class.
Yeah, I'll say you were able to accomplish what you wanted to accomplish in this recruiting class, Nick Saban. Good God. Nick Saban, ho-hum, we just signed another #1 recruiting class. Yawn.
Not even just yawn. Well, we tried to fill all of our needs. Like, he poo-poos the fact that he has the #1 recruiting class in the history of recruiting classes ever.
Yeah. Obviously, he's won an all-time record 7 national championships. He's won, what's the count? Is it 6 of the last 12 national championships Alabama has won under Nick Saban? I believe that's accurate. If it's not, it's close. All right. And it's only going to get worse. Listen to this quote from Bud Elliott, the 247sports.com national recruiting analyst. Quote, "Not only is this recruiting class the best in 2021 by a good margin, it's actually the highest rated of all time as currently comprised." He's talking about the current rating system that 247 and many other recruiting services use. All right, and that, you get so many points for a 5-star, so many points for a 4-star, so many points for a 3-star, and on down the list. I mean, Alabama's class features a ridiculous 7 5-star recruits. So, again, Nick Saban, and our boss here at the radio station, our big boss, is Linda Bird. She's a huge Alabama fan. She went to Alabama. After National Signing Day, I just texted her. I go, why doesn't Saban just retire? Because he's ruining all of the fun in the SEC. To me, it's no fun. The SEC used to be really fun because different teams could win it. Spurrier had his run in the 90s where he sort of dominated the SEC. But you've had, like Tennessee used to be good. And, Georgia would pop up and win it under Vince Dooley back in the day. And LSU would pop in there. And, so now it's like, yeah, I know Georgia's had a little bit of success. But essentially it's Alabama every year dominating the SEC, and to me, that's no fun. And I'm a big SEC guy. I grew up an SEC football fan, and to me, this is no fun, what's going on with Nick Saban. It's really not. I mean, good for Alabama and good for Nick Saban, but for the rest of us, this stinks. Austin, you wrote a blog disagreeing with this?
I completely disagree, and you can read the whole blog over on 969thegame.com, the open mic section.
Cheap plug.
Where I say it's actually more fun. The reason why it's more fun is because when you think about the great movies, even just regular old football games, the reason why we think Super Bowl 55 is great is because it's Patrick Mahomes versus Tom Brady, young versus old. It's a storyline. It's a story. And what does every good story need? A big, bad, evil guy. And you know who the big, bad, evil guy is for the SEC? Alabama. The Sabanator. And every single time that Nick Saban goes up against an LSU, a Florida, or they're in the SEC championship game, the underdog, we become fans of another team to have them beat Alabama.
Austin, you're the big movie guy, all right? You said every great movie, your Marvel comic movies, the good guy wins a lot of the time, all right?
But how do you get to the point?
In this movie, the bad guy always wins.
Mike,
the Sabanator always wins. That's no good movie.
Mike,
you want the good guy to win.
That's because you're thinking in terms of movies. Let me give you pro wrestling, brother. Why did Ric Flair... Serious question, though. Why is it that Ric Flair won so many world titles as a bad guy? You want to know why? Because the bad guy on top is always the best story. It's always better to have the underdog climb and crawl and get to the point where finally he beats him. Where 1 year he beats him. Well, guess what? What happens right after that? the big bad evil guy comes back again, and now he's even more bad. He's more evil. He's more everything. And so now it takes another good guy to come up and beat him again. So Alabama, if it was just a free for all at the top of the SEC,
that's what I want.
No, you don't. Because
give me a free for all.
No, you wouldn't. There would not be that consistent villain, and we would lose interest faster.
Adam,
I guess it comes down to what you're looking for. Do you want to see a dynasty, or do you want to see parity? There are merits for both. I mean, there is something enjoyable about watching what Saban is doing in a sport that we've recognized had parity for a long, long time. Now we're talking about like 10 teams that are sort of at the top. Now there's just one team at the top, and Clemson's trying to take a nip at their heels a little bit. Ohio State once in a while will get in the mix. Oklahoma will get in and then get right back out real fast. There's something impressive to say. We've never seen this done before.
Oh, I'm not saying it's not impressive. I'm just saying it sucked the fun out of the sport, especially the SEC.
Did we feel the same way about the NFL when the Patriots were on their run? I mean, because we recognize the NFL as a parity league because they have a salary cap and all that kind of stuff, but they just dominated. But when you're along for that ride, when Jordan played for the Bulls. And for 6 of the 7 years that he actually played a full season, or at least into the postseason, they won title. I don't think we looked at that and go, this is bad for the game. This is so boring. No, you know what we did? We sat back and we enjoyed the greatness. Maybe it's because he's a coach, and you don't get to really like enjoy the greatness with your eyes the way we do a player. Like we have. I mean, we've been oozing over Tom Brady for the last week. Just admiring what he's done to the league and how he's dominated the league, and look how old he.
Well, yeah, but we do marvel at Najee Harris hurdling over opposing defenders and Devontae Smith. We were marveling over those guys during the course of the season.
So what's wrong with keep on keeping on doing that? And then once in a while, some team from the SEC, whether it's Florida or LSU or somebody, they'll or Georgia, they'll knock them off. And that'll be a year we'll really celebrate that. We go, hey, this is going to be great. Except for Alabama now only has one loss. They're still going to make it in the playoffs and win the national championship anyway. So, damn. There goes that plan.
Oh, wow. All right, straight ahead, we're gonna go to Tampa, talk to our Bucks insider, Greg Allman. Also, we're going to tackle all the hot topics during the blast. That is coming your way on Open Mic.
About to blast off.
Just took it to my veins!
It's time for the blast.
That's right, it's time for the blast. Welcome back to Open Mic. Remember, the blast is brought to you by Frank Gay Services. You need an electrician or a plumber fast. You need them right now? Go to frankgayservices.com. They'll help you out. frankgayservices.com. We are hitting the blast, which you can vote on all these topics on Twitter at 969thegame. We start off, well, do you want me to start off with the thought-provoking daily poll? It's pretty simple. Who do you predict will win Super Bowl 55, the Chiefs or the Bucks?
All right, we're going to make our predictions with Jamie Say, WKMG News 6 Sports Director. We'll do that at 8:15. Why don't you just go ahead and read the results of the poll?
The results of the poll, with 58% of the vote, the Tampa Bay Bucks win this one.
A lot of Bucks fans out there.
Shouldn't surprise us.
Regional bias.
I was going to say, a little regional bias. I wonder if I retweeted it, how much Kansas City would jump up a little bit. Supplemental.
Kansas City!
Touchdown, Kansas City! Supplemental poll number 1. Which quarterback or coach most needs a Super Bowl victory on Sunday to cement their legacy? Is it Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, or Bruce Arians?
Well, first of all, Tom Brady's legacy's already cemented, so obviously winning a Super Bowl with a different team would enhance it. Patrick Mahomes, yeah, it would enhance his legacy as well to win back-to-back Super Bowls. But he's young. He's going to have a lot of other chances to win multiple Super Bowls. Bruce Arians, his legacy is that he's the guy who signed Tom Brady, right? Tom Brady's going to get all the credit if Bruce Arians wins the Super Bowl. This is easy. It's Andy Reid. He's one of the best coaches of our time. He took the Philadelphia Eagles to the Super Bowl, didn't win it, but he knocked on the door a bunch of times, went to 5 NFC championship games as the coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. He leaves, he joins Kansas City, and now he has a chance to win back-to-back Super Bowls in Kansas City. One of the few coaches who's taken 2 different teams to a Super Bowl. Yes, winning multiple Super Bowls, winning a second Super Bowl, that puts Andy Reid in the company of guys like Jimmy Johnson and who are some of the other coaches that have won 2 Super Bowls? Joe Gibbs, Don Shula, Bill Parcells. Jimmy Johnson, I mentioned. That puts him in that company with only 1 Super Bowl. You know who he is? He's Gary Kubiak. That's who he is.
About an hour and a half ago, I agreed with Mike, but now I've gone the other direction. I'm going to go with Bruce Arians for this reason. 1, wins the Super Bowl. It's a big deal. You become a coach with a Super Bowl title. Kind of matters.
Then he becomes Gary Kubiak.
Well, let me say this, that we talked about what Bruce Arians has done with his staff here. He has the most diverse staff in the NFL.
Yeah.
African Americans at all the coordinator positions, women on his staff. Maybe a Super Bowl victory for Bruce Arians expedites the process of getting more African American head coaches hired, since he's got so many coordinators on his staff. Maybe it fast tracks women to further advancement because hey, they were all on this staff that won a Super Bowl title.
Yeah,
so I'm going Bruce Arians.
Yeah, Andy Reid winning the Super Bowl last year, that really helped out Eric Bieniemy, didn't it?
Yeah.
Well, 59%.
I'm trying to increase the odds, the numbers, Mike.
59% of the vote says Bruce Arians needs it the most. Supplemental poll number 2. If the Kansas City Chiefs ditch their tomahawk chop and war chant, will FSU follow suit? Yes or no?
Will they follow suit? I don't know if they will, but I think there will certainly be some pressure. Again, we've already had the Washington football team drop their Native American nickname. Obviously, that was a racial slur, so we understand that one. We've had the Cleveland Indians drop Chief Wahoo and some of their Native American imagery. But if the Super Bowl champions drop their Native American imagery and the same Native American imagery that Florida State has, I'm talking about the tomahawk chop and I'm talking about the war chant, I think it's going to put a lot of pressure on Florida State, especially since the head of the Seminole tribe of Florida, Max Osceola, who signed off on Florida State using the Seminole nickname and using some of this imagery, he passed away several months ago. So I don't know if a change in leadership of the Seminole tribe might put even more pressure on Florida State.
Yeah, I think as long as Florida State has the hall pass from the Seminole tribe here in the state of Florida, they won't feel that much pressure. But if that ever changes, if they no longer have that like get out of jail free card, then I think that you will see that they will have a lot of pressure to change that mascot and that nickname, sooner rather than later.
With 77% of the vote, no, they will not follow suit. Supplemental poll number 3, with chicken wings being in short supply and the price skyrocketing before Super Bowl 55, will you take Bianchi's idea and sell your GameStop stock and buy chicken wing stock instead? Yes or no? Hold the line, rocket ship, rocket ship.
Well, I bet it's self-explanatory. I read you the story earlier. Chicken wings are in short supply. Chicken production down during the pandemic. Prices for chicken wings now nearing $3 a pound. Restaurants are selling more chicken wings than ever. Why is that? Because it's a great takeout type of dish, and that's why many restaurants are adding chicken wings to their menu so they can sell them takeout. So again, if you want to invest in something, I've been dabbling in a little day trading. If you want to invest in something, look for something that is practical. Forget this GameStop and this Nokia. Those are dying companies. Chicken wing companies. That's who you invest in. Yes.
Mike, who kind of had this tip earlier in the week, got Tyson Foods on Monday, and then today he is up $1.53 per share.
There you have it. There you have it. Yeah,
big money.
Yeah,
I mean, it's better than we're doing on Nokia right now.
With 63% of the vote, no, hold the line.
That's ridiculous.
Hold the line.
Sell that garbage GameStop.
Mr. Say, do as I say, not as I do over there. Hold the line.
Listen, I have said very firmly, get your money. Get your money. Get out.
But you gave money.
Listen, get your money. Get out. Get out while the getting's good. And
guy gets in the ring, takes a couple of right hands, and he looks at his corner like, throw the towel.
Throw the towel.
Get me out of here.
I like it.
Austin sounds like the guy from Barstool Sports.
Oh, man.
Dave Portnoy?
Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
that.
but he made money. That's the difference. I didn't get into GameStop.
You didn't get that pen wagering money?
Yeah, sadly. Supplemental poll number 4, with Nick Saban and Bama signing the highest-rated recruiting class of all time, has the dominance of the Crimson Tide taken the fun out of SEC football? Yes or no?
We just talked about that. Yes, in my opinion.
No, and fans of the SEC better not say yes, because, boy, there's nothing they love more than to run around, SEC. Yeah, we dominate, baby. We're dominating. Yeah. No, SEC, Alabama's dominating. You're not dominating. Knock that off, okay?
65% of the vote says yes.
Yes.
And it's taking the fun out of I don't buy this poll though. Yeah. I don't buy it. You tell me all these people are like,
buy it.
No,
the
hold on,
smoking.
No, the voters then will come back and go, man, SEC football is like nothing else. This is garbage. People are lying to themselves. They're lying.
Love the SEC.
Speaking of lying, open mic would you rather poll. Would you rather be a lion or be an elephant? This is what you get, Mike.
I love this question. Actually, I would. The better question: would you rather be a lion or a tiger? All right, that would be a much better question right here. But if you want to go elephant, most people are going to vote the lion here because the lion is the king of the beast. The lion's a good-looking, strong-looking animal, all of that. But I'm going elephant, all right? First of all, the average lifespan of a lion, only 15 years, right? The average lifespan of an elephant, like 75 years. An elephant, nobody's messing with the elephant because he's bigger than everybody else, even though he's a fat guy. He's a jolly fat guy. People love jolly fat guys, and the elephant is a jolly fat guy that lives to be 75. I'm taking the jolly fat guy elephant.
Yeah, I'd be an elephant too, because if either one of those guys gets captured and then put into captivity, like the elephant, well, at least, maybe you get one of those things where people can ride you and you like become like they're handing they're feeding you peanuts and they're like, oh, check this out. And like they put you in the water and then you can spray water on like somebody's mom or something like that.
I love that.
Nobody does that with lions. Nobody does that with lions. Like, stick him in there with the lions and feed him peanuts. No, they'll feed you your arm. That's what'll happen. I want to be the elephant. The elephants are lovable. Everybody loves it. Dumbo. I mean, is that great? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Elephant.
Jolly fat guy.
I'd like to put in my resignation of the Would You Rather poll guy.
What a great Would You Rather poll that was.
I'd consider this my resignation of the Would You Rather poll. Adam, you're in charge of it now on Monday.
Why can't we?
Yeah.
We want to be a cat or a dog.
Lion with 74% of the vote wins.
All right,
I gotta call Greg.
Yeah, while you get Greg Allman on the phone, we're gonna discuss. Aren't these Would You Rather polls much better? The simple Would You Rather polls, aren't those better, Adam, than like Austin trying to come up with like superhero power? Which superhero power would you? What was the one that really sent us over the edge? The most recent one?
It was just a long, drawn out one that had like you had to think like 3 levels in, and if you had no frame of reference for the Marvel characters or the DC characters that he was talking about, like you don't even really understand.
Only Austin and his comic book nerds understood his question.
I have zero frame of reference for any of those. I saw the original Batman, like the one with was that Michael Keaton was it was Batman. After that, like I've seen none of that stuff. I've seen no Iron Mans. I've seen no Spider-Mans. I've seen no the collaboration. I did see Black Panther though. I did. I saw that.
Okay, for the record, Greg's on, ready to rock and roll.
Let's pause. Look, we got to get to Greg. Let's pause for station identification.
WYGM Orlando, WJRR HD2 Cocoa Beach, FM 96.9 The Game, the home of Orlando City Soccer Club.
Oh, yeah, Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the Super Bowl on Sunday against the defending champion Kansas City Chiefs. By the way, you can listen to that game if you're out and about and you want to listen to the game. You can listen to it right here on FM 96.9 The Game and AM 740. We have the Westwood One coverage of the Super Bowl for the first time this Sunday. Greg Allman has been embedded in Tampa all season long. He's a veteran scribe that covers the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for The Athletic. You can read all of his coverage at theathletic.com. You can also follow him on Twitter. He's a great follow at Greg Allman. You know what I do? I follow Greg Allman on Twitter, and then after the game, he's at the press conferences on all the Zoom calls, and he's tweeting out the quotes, and I get to see the quotes right there in live time with Greg Allman tweeting them out. I appreciate that, Greg Allman.
Hey, I'm here for you, Mike. Don't worry. And veteran scribe is very nice. That's basically old hack, but I appreciate that.
All right. We were talking earlier about Bruce Arians, Tampa Bay Buccaneers head coach, and how much credit will he get if the Bucs win the Super Bowl? Obviously, this is all about Tom Brady. He has usurped the entire Super Bowl and Super Bowl coverage. Will Bruce Arians get his fair due if they win the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's kind of back to the whole Brady Belichick thing, and then obviously you're sharing the glory, I guess. But I think Bruce will gladly take a Lombardi trophy and whatever share of it you give him credit for.
What has he done besides convincing Tom Brady to come to Tampa? What's Bruce Arians done in 2 years to make the Bucs a Super Bowl participant?
Honestly, I think one of the underrated things this year is just the way he's insisted on a fierce discipline as it relates to COVID and kind of read his guys the riot act to not let that be something that derails the season. It's been 4 or 5 times this year they've played opponents that are down players or missing players during the week as a result of having a positive test or a close contact. They've had a couple themselves, don't get me wrong, but it hasn't been the problem that it could have been. So I think you think about Bruce being 68, being a cancer survivor, being a high risk, just a high risk person in the middle of a pandemic. I think he's done the right things, not only protect himself, but to kind of keep his team in a position to not get as derailed as it could be.
We've been talking a lot about Bruce Arians' coaching staff this week. Obviously, the most diverse coaching staff in the league, with 4 black coordinators, 2 women on the coaching staff as well. And Bruce Arians talked earlier this week about how much having that diversity sort of helps the Buccaneers because players want to hear from different voices, from different backgrounds. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, it's really neat, and something that, he had done even last year when he came here. I think he's been a fairly progressive guy all of his career. And it's not just different races, different genders. He's got guys on his staff that go from like 27 to 82. So it's different generations and the different perspectives that come with that. And Bruce, to his credit, he's not doing this with an eye on diversity. He's doing it because he thinks they're the best coaches. He's been pretty prominent and outspoken in terms of hoping the rest of the league can be more diverse. Obviously, the head coaching hires in this cycle didn't necessarily reflect that. But I think, like I said, I think he's kind of leading the way, and it's a nice thing when a team that's leading the way can have the success that they're having.
Greg, I don't know. I was talking to Tony Dungy yesterday. I'm name dropping now. So I was talking to Tony Dungy yesterday. Yeah, me and Tony were having a good conversation yesterday, and I asked him about Clyde Christensen, who's on the Buccaneers coaching staff. Clyde Christensen, for people who don't know, he was on Tony Dungy's coaching staff with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, part of the coaching staff that got fired and replaced by John Gruden. And I asked him about Clyde Christensen being in the Super Bowl, and he, of course, Tony Dungy, being the nicest guy in the world, just was glowing about Clyde Christensen. Have you talked to Clyde Christensen, and what is this like for him to be back in the Super Bowl with the Bucs, and when he got fired from the Bucs because he couldn't get to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, no, this is a cool thing, and Clyde's absolutely an unsung guy on this staff and in this success, in that there's so many people they have around Tom Brady working with him, and it's Bruce, and it's Byron Leftwich, who's the play caller, and Tom Moore, who's kind of the consigliere on the staff. But Clyde's the quarterback's coach. Clyde's the mechanics guy, the X's and O's guy. And he's got a great history. You mentioned the Bucs. He was Lawrence Taylor's roommate for 2 years at North Carolina.
Really?
In the late 70s. Yeah, it's crazy. I literally didn't know that until this month. I knew he had gone to Carolina, but two years in the same 4-man suite with Lawrence Taylor. He has stories that he cannot tell. But yeah, it's really neat. So Clyde's just a guy that has, like you said, been through a lot, seen through a lot. He had Peyton Manning for a couple of years there in Indy when they went to a Super Bowl with Tony. So, yeah, just neat to see him get to have another chance to get a Super Bowl like this and to work with, if you're a guy that's worked with quarterbacks for 40 years, it's a cool thing to get to work with Tom Brady.
By the way, how good is Tony Dungy? So I had this old number from Dungy from years ago, all right? And I needed to get in touch with him because I'm writing a column for the weekend on, the hiring practices in the NFL. So I just texted this number not knowing if it was still good and explaining to Tony Dungy who I was. And, he called me like in 5 minutes. The guy's unbelievable. I love that man.
Yeah, no, he's great. He's still absolutely beloved here in Tampa. I had this probably 3 years ago. We're in the airport, and it just so happened that we're like getting out of a terminal the same time Dungy's walking up. I had my son with me, and I didn't want to be a part of it. I'm like, right, you should walk up and just say hi, Tony. Say, nice to meet you. And Tony was nice as can be. I stayed far enough back where he didn't even know it was me. Nice as can be. Had a conversation with my son. That's who he is. That's just exactly the kind of guy he is.
All right, let's get back to Brady. Brady said earlier this week, obviously a couple things he said. Maybe he wants to play past the age of 45. And the other thing that sort of startled me, actually it didn't startle me because I think it's true, is that he says the Bucs are going to be even better next year. Do you agree with that? And if so, why?
Yeah, no, I think they could be. What they've done this year, they've done without any kind of normal offseason, no preseason. I don't think they know each other as well as teams in Week 22 normally know each other. So they're going to have some challenges bringing everybody back. They got a ton of free agents. I think a lot of them are just going to want to come back and win or go after another title with Tom Brady. But again, some of them might want to get paid and might make moves based on that. It's certainly understandable. So I think if they bring back most of this talented roster they have, they'll be in great position. If you think about New Orleans, New Orleans, again, we're looking at Drew Brees retiring. We're looking at the Saints $90 million over the cap right now. The NFC South should be theirs for the taking. So they can be a lot better than 11-5. They might not have to go on the road for the playoffs next year. No, I think there's every reason to think that the band's going to be back together next year.
Here's the other thing. Because the Bucs are a wild card team, they're going to have an easier schedule next year, right? Than some of the other contenders.
Yeah, some of them, it's only 2 games that are a reflection of your schedule, but it's the Rams. And obviously the Rams are a pretty good second-place team. That's not much help. And I guess the other one is I think it's an NFC North team they're playing. Maybe it's the Bears, so there's no real harm in having to face the Bears. So that helps a little bit. They're not, most Super Bowl champs, you're facing division champs, all over the place on your schedule, so they don't have to worry about that at least.
Do you expect Brady? I think Bruce Arians was asked yesterday or sometime this week about will Brady's contract be extended by the Bucs? Is there talk of that?
It could. Yeah, it could be. He signed on for 2 years and $50 million, just a straight $25 million each year. So they absolutely could extend him. I don't think he's going to take too much less than that. He's already kind of taken it for the team, and that's something he's always done in New England, to take a lower salary just to kind of allow for better teammates around him. But if they want to lower that cap figure a little bit, they probably could add a year and kind of do some of the fun salary cap math you can do with that. Yeah, like I said, he sounds like somebody who's not looking at next year or last year right now, as crazy as that is at age 44.
Greg Allman, nobody covers the Tampa Bay Buccaneers better. Check out all of his Super Bowl coverage at theathletic.com. Greg, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, thanks, guys. Enjoy the game this weekend.
All right, straight ahead, it is time for us to make our Super Bowl picks. Jamie Say will come on from WKMG News 6 and make her picks as well. That's next. But first, we have your chance to win $1,000.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Text the
the Open Mic Football Picks champion, sports director for WKMG, Jamie Say.
Jamie Say, you can watch her do the sports report on WKMG News 6 every weeknight, 6 and 11. You can also watch her critically acclaimed, wildly popular show, After the Whistle, 11:35 to midnight every Saturday night. Are you doing Super Bowl this week?
We are doing Super Bowl this week. I've been out in Tampa the last couple days, and I'll be heading there today, and I'll be there tomorrow, Sunday, and Monday. So, so we're doing Super Bowl. It's been fun. How are you, Mike?
We are doing great, Jamie. So yesterday, it was National Girls and Women in Sports Day yesterday, and we were talking about our favorite women athletes, our favorite women sports personalities. And you know what Austin Pastolka said? He said we need to recognize Jamie Say for the impact she's had on our community in sports.
Oh,
what do you think?
I really
about
appreciate that? I really appreciate Austin. I appreciate him for saying that. I don't think I need to be recognized. I think I'm just another person doing their job just like you guys. But I really appreciate Austin thinking of me in that sense. It's been an honor and really one of the great parts of my life to be able to work here and cover sports in Orlando and interact with so many fans here. So I really appreciate it. I love what I do. And I've loved what I've done for so long as a sports reporter since I was a college graduate, which was a little while ago. But I appreciate Austin for saying that for sure.
Speaking of women in sports, Jamie, before we get to our Super Bowl pick, we've been talking this week about Bruce Arians having 2 full-time women coaches on his coaching staff. I'm sure you've talked to those coaches, Lori Locust being one of them. What do you think the impact of what Bruce Arians, being the only coach in the league to have 2 women on his staff, will have for the future of women coaches in the NFL?
I think it's huge. I really do. I think it's huge that they got to the biggest game of the year too, and that because of all the media availabilities, they put those coaches front and center to the media because all across the country, writers are writing about them, broadcasters are talking about them, people are seeing it on the news, people are getting it from media outlets. Maybe little girls are seeing, hey, there's a woman coach in the NFL. Maybe dads are seeing, hey, maybe my daughter could be part of the NFL someday. Maybe a mom is saying, hey, maybe my daughter could be part of the NFL someday. I mean, growing up, I always loved football, but I never played because it was kind of taboo. You just didn't. But I loved football, but I didn't think there'd be a space for me within the game, except on the outskirts, in terms of reporting on it. To see women coaching, it's amazing. To see men in the highest level of this game take the coaching from women, it's amazing. And I think it does wonders. I really do. I think more women will get involved. I appreciate the NFL, how they have this pipeline, how they've created it. And it would be awesome, if more professional sports do it too. I think the NBA is very good at hiring diverse staffs too. I don't know if they have a mentorship program or a pipeline like the NFL does, but it would be nice to see other pro leagues take their cues from the NFL.
Just listening to Lori Locust earlier this week, she's the assistant defensive line coach for the Bucs, and just listening to her story about how she sounded sort of like you, she loved football in high school, but there was no outlet for her to either play or coach when she got out of high school. So she went to college, she gets married, she has a couple of kids, and she just defers her dream of football until she's 40 years old and she starts playing semi-pro ball in her hometown of Harrisburg. Then she starts coaching the same team, and then that's when it bit her, and finally, and where did she get her start, Jamie, as far as a professional coach? Right?
I know. the Birmingham Iron of the Alliance of American Football. One of the great things about Orlando is there is a women's tackle football team here, the Orlando Anarchy, and I know a lot of women because I've done stories with them. I know a lot of women who play the game for the Orlando Anarchy, and they're good. And there are teams like that all over the country. So this is happening more and more where there are opportunities for us to play. I talked to Jen Welter, who was Bruce Arians' coaching intern when he was with the Arizona Cardinals, and she played football, but she played on a men's team. So there are opportunities. So I think, the more female faces you see it's like there are doors open to us to be more involved in this game. It's awesome. But yeah, Lori Locust is an amazing story. Talk about having a dream, pursuing it late in life, and then getting to the highest level. It's amazing. It's why you should never give up on your dreams, because you never know when they'll happen.
All right, Jamie, you've already won the football picks contest for the third consecutive year, so we don't need to make a big deal about how many. What?
No. Look, this is what I'm thinking. I know this contest means a lot to you. It means a lot to me. We've been a little frosty the last 2 weeks. We put all our chips on the Super Bowl table. Whoever wins the Super Bowl, and if we have the same picks, whoever is closest score is the champion. How's that?
Wow, is that a hand being reached across the aisle right now?
I will not be patronized here today, all right? That is not going to happen, but I appreciate the offer, Jamie say. But no, instead of us just picking the Super Bowl, we're all going to pick the Super Bowl today. And Jamie, you are the champion for the third straight year, so you're going to pick last because your pick means the most because you're the champion. Let's start with Adam. Adam, what's your Super Bowl pick?
I'm taking the Chiefs 27-23.
Any reason?
I think the Chiefs are 4 points better.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that analysis. That's what you listen to Sports Talk Radio
with Tom Brady driving, like Tom Brady driving, needing a touchdown, and throws an interception. Tyrann Mathieu.
Oh, God. You would love that. You've been rooting against Brady for the last 2 weeks.
No.
You think he's getting too much credit?
Listen. My dream scenario would be he throws like some Hail Mary duck, and Antonio Brown plucks it out of the air 60 yards in the end zone, shakes a couple of tacklers, spins off one guy, gets to the end zone, and then they carry Antonio Brown off the field, and he's like, I'm going to Disney World. As long as I'm allowed to leave the county. I don't know. So what are my rules on that?
All right, Austin Pistolka, who's your pick?
Oh, it's simple. It truly is simple. Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs are going to take it to old man Tom Brady. All right, that's all there is to it. It's the young, talented quarterback overtaking the old man. It's the Chiefs. They're going to win this one 37-32. There's going to be some weird things going on, so it's a weird score. 37-32, Chiefs.
You know what? The Chiefs should win. They're the better team. They're favored. They have the better quarterback right now, Patrick Mahomes. I think everybody would agree right now he's a better quarterback than Tom Brady. They have the better coach, Andy Reid. I think everybody would say Andy Reid's better than Bruce Arians, but this isn't about the Kansas City Chiefs. Come on. This game is all about Tom Brady and his greatness and Tom Brady's greatness, all right? The old GOAT's going to beat the young lion, Tom Brady, over Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I'll go, what was your score, Austin?
37-32.
I'll go 38-34. The Tampa Bay Bradys win this game.
All right. I so want to say Tom Brady and the Buccaneers are going to win this game because, they've been playing great. I think their defense is still underrated because we really haven't talked about their defense this week. It's all been Tom Brady, but that Buccaneers defense is really, really good. However, you look at the Chiefs roster on offense, they're just superior. And then you look at the Chiefs defense, and I saw what they did to the Buffalo Bills 2 weeks ago. And the Chiefs' defensive coordinator, Steve Spagnuolo, was the coordinator on the New York Giants back in 2007 when New York ruined the Patriots' run. So I know how good of a coach he is. So I am going with Kansas City 30, the Buccaneers 24.
Ooh,
man.
Yeah.
Ooh, we have 3 Chiefs picks on open mic, 1 Bucks pick. Oh, man. I hope all of you guys are wrong because we're all in the media. We all root for the story, and the Tampa Bay Bucks winning is a much, much, much better story. Everybody would agree with that, right?
Yeah.
Definitely.
For sure.
Yeah. Jamie, say we appreciate it. Congratulations on being the Picks champion. Maybe we'll see you over in Tampa at the Super Bowl.
Well, I hope so. I hope everybody enjoys the Super Bowl and has a great weekend. Thanks so much for having me on.
All right, straight ahead, it's Mark Daniels. We'll get